my name is Nosim. We have an initiative called Peek-A-Bliss.
Peek-A-Bliss is our book reading initiative. It aims at promoting the habit of book reading in children and saving them from the evils of screen time. We love to read books in 4 languages: English, Hindi, Spanish and French. Today we are going to read a story in English language called The Good Neighbor. Let's begin. It was a bright Sunday morning. Ginny Giraffe and Bob Bear, neighbors who had taken to organic farming and living just outside the city, were hurrying towards their fields, which were close to their houses and adjacent to each other. They had to sow seeds for the last cycle of Rabi season, and a lot of work was pending. They decided to clean the fields first, hoping to finish their work by noon before it got too hot to work. They soon reached their farms. This is their farm. Upon arrival, they took one look at the state of their fields and saw pebbles, stones, and outgrown grass scattered everywhere. We should collect all the stones in one place and uproot the grass, Ginny suggested. Yes, Ginny, you are right. Let's start quickly. Bob agreed immediately, beginning to uproot the grass. Bob worked hard, making steady progress collecting stones. After some time, while taking a short break, he noticed something strange. A large portion of Ginny's field had cleared up, but his own field didn't seem to be getting any clearer. Puzzled, he turned to look at Ginny, only to find her sneakily tossing pebbles and stones and uprooted grass from her field into Bob's. That's wrong. Ginny was clever by nature. She realized that if she gathered all the debris in her own field, she would have a huge pile of rubbish to haul away. So she secretly threw all the debris into Bob's field. That's evil. Bob was so engrossed in his work that he didn't even notice until he caught Ginny in the act. Ginny, it's great that you are cleaning your own field, but why are you ruining my efforts by making a mess in my field? Bob asked her, annoyed. See, he's firm. He is confronting her firmly. No, maybe the wind blew some of my debris into your field. It's not my fault, Ginny replied innocently. Come on, some grass might have flown over, but how did the stones get here? You are lying. You deliberately dumped all the rubbish in my field, Bob accused Ginny. Why would I do that? My field was cleaner than yours, so I finished quickly. And now you are bullying me, Ginny said. Bob knew that arguing with Ginny was pointless, so he quietly resumed his work, thinking how to teach Ginny a lesson. One day, it started raining unexpectedly. Bob was worried as the land near his house was low and uneven. Due to the continuous rain, the area filled up with water, making it difficult to exit his house. If I dig a drain to redirect the water elsewhere, the area in front of my house would no longer be muddy, Bob thought. The sky cleared up the next day, but the water was still there. As Bob set out to dig, his gaze fell on Ginny's house. The land in front of it was clean and dry. An idea crossed his mind. This was my chance, he smiled. Bob quickly fetched a shovel and dug a drain from his house to Ginny's, directing all the water towards Ginny's house. Coincidentally, Ginny was not home at that moment, so Bob was able to carry out his plan undisturbed. Satisfied with his work, Bob returned to his home and lay down. A while later, Ginny returned home happily, humming to herself. Suddenly, her foot landed in muddy water. She slipped and fell. Her clothes were drenched and covered in mud. Stunned, she looked around. When I left for the market, there was no water here. How did this happen? She muttered. She looked closely and spotted the drain leading from Bob's house to her own. Fuming, she called out to Bob. As soon as Bob came outside, Ginny started shouting at him. Aren't you ashamed? You redirected the dirty water from your house to mine. Bob blinked innocently. I have been sleeping inside for a long time. Maybe the water flowed there on its own, but this drain was deliberately dug. Ginny snapped. Well, strong water flow can form a drain like this, Bob replied calmly. That's impossible. You are lying, Ginny shouted. Oh, if bushes and pebbles can be blown away by strong winds, then surely this is possible too, Bob said with a smile. Realization dawned upon Ginny. Embarrassed, she silently started walking back towards her house. Watching her leave, Bob called out, Ginny, wait! I only did this to teach you a lesson. Come, I will close this drain now. Ginny sighed and smiled. No, you won't do it alone. I will help you. And let's plant some trees in front of both our houses. Then we will bring some soil from elsewhere to fill this area so this problem will never happen again. Bob smiled and nodded. Together, the two neighbors set to work not just to fix the drain but to ensure that their friendship remained strong. Chocalo Cinco's. Story complete. What do we do when the story completes? Adios.
I'll read that story.
Yes, we'll read another story.